Hello everyone, my name is Bayu Abdul Basit and today I would like to tell you about what is gender equality to fulfill my assignment at the final test assignment of the subject academic speaking. So let's just moving on into the action. First thing first, we need to know exactly what is gender equality. So gender equality is a movement to encourage people to having a same representation and equally opportunity without looking at their gender. So, let's say if there's a woman who wanted to be a leader, they could be allowed because they have an opportunity and be treated that they have the same equality as a man does. They have the same rights to represent themselves to be a leader. But could gender equality really actually exist in this world? My opinion about this is actually, well, it is gender equality is actually could exist in this world. But the problem is not all of every aspect needed a gender equality, because not all of it could have a same equality, having a same opportunity without looking at the gender. For an example, let's say there is an army who are definitely is much more dominated by a man, because men having better physical ability than a woman does. That means that woman is not having a same opportunity to being an army, but they do have a same opportunity to join the army, but not at a specific place. For an example, if you wanted to be a general at the specific army, for an example, you wanted to be a general at the army, there's a small chance for a woman to having the same opportunity to go in there. Why? Because they have different physical ability. Can you imagine a country with a weak general? It could make it a trouble, because if we have a weak general, it makes the country cannot be participated in the war efficiently, because they have lacking of strategy, they have lacking of physical ability to conspire the other army. So, but can the gender equality is presented? The answer is yes. Gender equality is actually could be presented, but not in all every aspect. The minus is been talked about before in the example of a military aspect. But if we talking from another aspect, from another point of view, we could having a lot more insight. For an example, when we wanted to be account manager, it is a job that could be done by every gender. You could do it by being a man, you could do it by being a woman, as long as you're having a good intelligence. Intelligence could be trained, and a lot of people, every single people, without looking at their gender, they will have the same intelligence if they are working out. If they are keep training their intelligence, they will somehow working out in the next future. So basically, this kind of job will have the same opportunity without looking at the gender at all. But to be having a physically better, mentally better, it is depending on what kind of gender it is, because we are both different. Either it is a man or either it is woman, we are both different. Okay, the physical ability that woman cannot be compared with, but woman is also having a different physical aspect that is man cannot have. For an example, women are born to be attractive. When a woman is trying to having an opportunity to being a sales promotion girl, well, they will easily accept it because they are having attractive kind of physical bodies, not like a man does. Men, in the other hand, they are not born to be attractive. Some of them maybe it is, but not all of them. Women is as their natural beauty, they will have that attraction, because the purposes of being beautiful is to making yourself being attractive to the other people, while men cannot achieve those. Men might be achieving those things by doing some kind of daily routine for each day, But the problem is men not doing that from the child, from when they are a child. Instead, when they were a child, they were going to discoveries, not like girls does. Girl, in the other hand, they're doing some kind of makeups since they were a child, meaning that they been training for a lot more and experience that is much more better than men does, meaning that girls are much more, yeah, much more comprehended with this kind of aspect. So, meaning that not all every man could having a same value, but for some aspect, there are some stigmatics that is being thrown by men to women that you cannot do this, but it is been breaking because of the figure that is fighting for it. For an example, back to the World War II era, where Indonesia, for an example, they have a problem where the man saying that women should not having an education, they should stay at home, cook dinner and a lot of things. But the problem is, well, if the woman doesn't have an education, they will never advancing for the next generation, isn't it? So Raden Ageng Kartini is moving on to conspirate people, to inspiration in them that they have the same opportunity as a man does to achieve an education because it is for their own good. There's no worse beneficial for the woman or either man, while it is much more better to be having the same opportunity to having an education, either it is a woman or a man, because they could share their minds together so that they will advancing in the different point of view, in the point of view of a woman and in the point of view of a man. But in the other hand, some of the figure is being a radical. They are being radical because, for an example, when they were a woman, that they wanted to having a lot of things that is men could do. For an example that I've been talked about before, being an army. A woman wanted to be an army. Okay, you could do that, but not all of a woman shared the same opportunity as a man. The opportunity is like an upside down change. The woman opportunity might be is 30% or more than 40% highest, and then man opportunity to being an army is 60% that woman does. But woman wanted it to make it equals to 50% and 50%. But the problem is, will the woman willing to die for the army? Will the woman willing to increase their strength for the army? But the woman might be not consider it, but they just consider about the labor, about the wager for the job that they offer to the woman. Meaning that woman is only wanted to having the positive side of the job. So a lot of figure of the woman side is fighting for this kind of opportunity, and then also a man is also having a side or a figure to deciding or block this kind of movement if a lot of people agree that it is wrong. The emancipation that is being done by the Raden Ageng Kartini is could be appreciated, could be working, could be represented, because a lot of people finally agree to the Raden Ageng Kartini that it is important for an education. But for kind of women, well, maybe they are important if you are basically in the needs of war. If you are lacking of soldier, for an example, and Ukraine right now, well, you might be pulling a lot of women to being a soldier because you need soldiers, because you need an army to fight in other countries. Well, it is a change, of course, but the problem is, again, it's not really relevant and it's not really their capabilities to be an army. So, in the conclusion is that women and men cannot be equal, because there's a lot of aspect. For an example, the physical aspect that I've been talking about with the military example, and then I'm also giving an example of attraction, beauty of attraction that is man and woman does, and then I am also giving an example of a mentality that man could willing to die for, while woman maybe not. So that is the conclusion of Why do women and men cannot be equally having the same opportunity to doing some job and labor, but they do have some kind of opportunity for some aspect, for example, the education. So that's all from me. If I is offending you guys about my speech, well, maybe it's because my topic is kind of bit heated. So yeah, I'm really sorry for saying that. So thank you for listening to me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.